Hello, friends. It's been a long time, I know, and I'm so glad to be connected to all of you again after so long. So, today I'm going to be talking about self worth and how the difference between how we think of self worth as a child versus how we, as adults and grown ups, can rebuild our self worth. And so please tune in and stay on and watch the video till the end. And I hope that you like this video. So let me just get started. For those who don't know me, to introduce myself, I'm Anushri Shah. I'm the founder of Rooting Happiness, and I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. And I share videos that are to do with mental health awareness, emotional well-being. I'm also an EFT practitioner. I'm also training to be a journey practitioner, and I also have a lot of experience in traditional psychotherapy. So, uh, coming back to our topic today, self-worth. What is self-worth? And how do we distinguish our self worth as a child versus as a grown up adult? So, recently I had this experience where I had a trigger. You know, we are all aware of what triggers are. Triggers are generally anything that bothers us, that makes us uncomfortable, and that gets an emotional response, generally a negative emotional response out of us. So there was a trigger that I had to face recently, and that was about this person that I knew was not being very friendly with me, and that kind of made me think of why the person's not being friendly with me. Is there something wrong with me? I started doubting my own self. Maybe I have done something wrong to offend her, and why is she not being just nice, generally nice to me? And I started with my tapping or EFT, as a lot of you know, where I use EFT as a tool to heal my own self as well as heal others. So that's when I started tapping on this specific emotion that I was feeling. I was feeling really low about myself. And that's when I realized that this was a pattern that I had formed as a child, where when as a child I used to be rejected, or I used to be kind of excluded from things. Like, I had a group of friends, but they would conveniently forget to call me to a certain um, outing or a certain party or whatever that was. And I used to feel really bad as a highly sensitive child. I used to feel really, really bad about it. And I used to always think that there was something wrong with me personally, which is why they were behaving like this with me. And that's when I started devaluing myself, and I started, my self worth became extremely low. And that was when I was probably a kid, like 7, 8 years old, and so on. And while tapping, I suddenly realized that as a child, I could never think of any other reason why they did not want to include me other than the fact that there was something wrong with me. And as a child, that was my way of dealing with the situation. But as an adult, I know that there is nothing wrong with me, and that every person has their own choice of who they want to include and who they don't want to include. And that's perfectly fine. It should be respected. So, while doing this whole tapping process, I uncovered this belief that there was some, because if somebody did not include me in something, I there was something wrong with me, obviously, and I had zero self-worth. Now, I had to go back to my childhood and really give my inner child, that child that was stuck up at that age of 7 or 8, a different perspective. I had to make the child understand that at your age, or as most children are, they're very egocentric. What does egocentric mean? It means that I can only think about myself in every situation. It's not being selfish, but it's not having the capacity as a child to think beyond yourself and your own needs, which is extremely normal as a child, because we don't have that kind of capacity or capability as children to think beyond our own self and our own needs. So I had to give my inner child a perspective on that, and I had to let my inner child know that that was you when you were 7 and 8 years old, and that was fine because you thought that there was something wrong with you, but it just so happened that you couldn't think of anything, any other reason apart from yourself, and there's something being wrong with you. So, once I was able to do that, I was able to also give my present self, at my present age, a different perspective, where I was able to explain to myself that that was a very egocentric perspective, where I was thinking of my self worth as based on other people's opinions about me, which I had learned as a child. But now I'm not a child anymore. I'm an adult, I'm a matured person, and I have my own identity now. I have my own mind to think and to evaluate things. And now I know that my self worth is not based on anybody else's opinions about me. It's not about me. Finally, it comes to a stage where you can tell yourself it's not about me. If they don't like me, it's not about me. It's something that probably they don't like about me, and that's fine. They don't have to like everything in me. And at the same time, it's just their perspective. And at our age, thankfully, we are able to uh, understand that different people have different perspectives and different likes and dislikes, and we can respect that as matured adults. And so, this entire process made me realize that we've been holding on to those egocentric ways of thinking as small children, and we haven't really grown out of it. And we need to give ourselves a different perspective as mature adults. And I am sharing this video so that I am able to help you give yourself or anybody else who you think would benefit from this a different perspective on what really self-worth is. Self-worth is you are valuable, you are worthy, just because you exist. There is nothing that needs to be based, your self-worth needs to be based on. There is absolutely nothing that your self-worth needs to be based on. The fact that you exist makes you worthy of having everything you want in your life. And if you have thought that you are not worthy because XYZ happened to you in your past, that's your past, and that's your egocentric way of thinking as a small child. And maybe it's time that you could probably think in a different perspective and evaluate how far you have come in your life, and whether what you thought as a child still holds true as an adult for you. I wish you all a very, very, very happy, healing journey. And please put your comments. I would love to hear discussions or comments, or whether you've liked the video, whether you agree or you disagree, or if you have your own thoughts and opinions about self-worth. Please do share. I would love to hear them. And please like the video if you've liked them. Share with your friends if you think it'll help somebody. And God bless you. Stay healthy. Thank you.